What's doing, everybody? Today is Tuesday, March 24th. Another illegal alien slaughters another American citizen. President Trump sends ICE to go shorten these TSA lines. The Iran deadline has been extended. I got Congressman Scott Perry joining me on the podcast. I'm AlecLace. This is the AlecLace Show.
The American family is under attack. Parents are the underdog of this nation. Your children are being indoctrinated. That's right. Your children. They do not belong to the state. They do not belong to the school system. They belong to you, the parents, as a blessing from God our Father. So let's preserve, protect, and fight for the American family together. You're listening to the AlecLace Show. The future is family.
All right, welcome everybody to the AlecLace Show. I'm happy and honored, as always, to be here with you guys. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching the broadcast as it streams live on Rumble, please get down there, hit the share button. Let's get as many people into the broadcast as possible. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share it with everybody in your neighborhood. Don't keep it a secret. I always appreciate you guys tuning in. Listen, I'm outraged this morning or this afternoon. And they're not fake outrage like you see from the Democrats and the hissy fits on TV. Just outraged, pissed off as a father, as an American citizen. This story involving Sheridan Gorman, an 18-year-old girl who was in cold blood just murdered by an illegal alien from Venezuela, has really got my blood boiling here today. And I think many of you out there share this. But it's another crime that could have been prevented and should have been prevented. Now, we understand that there's all kinds of evil in the world. We understand that. But this was 100% preventable. And we've seen these cases so many times. And the liberal media, the fake news media, will tune this out so many people won't even ever hear about the story. But it is heartbreaking. And again, you know, I have a young daughter. I have a kid in college. This was a freshman in college. And in Chicago, this woman's whole life was taken from her. And I can't even begin to put myself in her parents' minds right now, in her family's minds right now. DHS confirmed that the suspect in custody for murdering the Loyola University student Sheridan Gorman in Chicago is a Venezuelan immigrant alien who was caught and released at the border by Biden's administration in May of 2023. Now, DHS also says he was released from local custody after a shoplifting arrest in the sanctuary city of Chicago on June 19, 2023. So this guy was in the country illegally, committed a crime, right, of shoplifting, which we don't even count as a crime, right? That's just a free shopping spree to the Democrats. Oh, no, just take what you want. There's no penalty for that. So the guy is arrested for shoplifting, should have been deported right there. So number one, he was got and released at the border, allowed into the country. There's the first place where we could have prevented, and Sheridan Gorman would be alive today. Okay, that's number one. Then he's arrested for shoplifting. He should have been deported out of the country. But since Chicago is a sanctuary city, no, we're going to keep this illegal criminal now in the country. We're going to keep him in the city, around your family, around your children. There's number two where you could have prevented this tragedy. But it doesn't happen. And what is the cost? What is the price of this? Sheridan Gorman is murdered in cold blood. DHS identified the suspect as Venezuelan national Jose Medina. He's accused of approaching Gorman while she was walking in a park with friends Thursday morning. He came up on her while he was wearing a mask, armed with a gun. As she attempted to flee, he fired his gun and shot her. Gorman was shot and pronounced dead at the scene. It's just, here's a woman just walking with her friends, walking less than a mile away from her college. She's a freshman in school, and this guy cuts her down. Now, what does J.B. Pritzker? He puts out, he blames President Trump for politicizing this, politicizing the death of Sheridan Gorman. Like he does, he says, J.B. Pritzker, just a few months ago, was on with Jimmy Kimmel, and he was mocking the crime in Chicago in the very park in which this girl was murdered. He's mocking the crime. He puts on his fake bulletproof vest, and he's saying, oh, it's a war zone out here. He's mocking it. And when he went on Jimmy Kimmel, the day prior to him going on Jimmy Kimmel, there was a young 16-year-old or 15-year-old kid that was murdered in Chicago right before he went on Jimmy Kimmel to do this. But he went on and made it a big joke. Oh, the crime is out of control here. Ha, 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 ha. He makes fun of it. Then what does he do? A couple of months ago, he's out there with his big mouth saying ICE should be abolished. ICE should be replaced. He's calling out Trump's ICE enforcement. We don't need ICE. And then what happens? Now Sheridan Gorman is dead. And he says, oh, Trump's just trying to politicize this. We shouldn't politicize this. Well, here's this phony fat bastard putting down flowers for Alex Preddy. Oh, we'll never forget you, Alex Preddy, Renee Good. All right, who's politicizing what? Now, you have to remember that Alex Preddy and Renee Good, these are two people who put themselves in a position where their lives were ended. Renee Good was blocking traffic during a federal ICE operation, drove her car at an ICE officer, and was killed. Alex Preddy was interfering with a federal operation, right? And he assaulted ICE agents. As a result, both of those people died. They specifically, intentionally put themselves into a dangerous situation. And everybody heard about the story. Everybody heard about the tragedy. Everybody blamed ICE and they're Nazis and the Gestapo. The media turned up the volume. All kinds of protests we've seen about it. They literally put themselves in a direct position to be killed. That's not what Sheridan Gorman did here. Sheridan Gorman was freaking walking in a park by the pier, close to her college. And she was murdered for no reason. And the media wants nothing to do with this story because it goes against their entire narrative. And this is what we're talking about here. This is a preventable tragedy. We understand that there's evil in the world. We understand that you can't eradicate the evil forces from the planet. I get it. But you have to fight back. You have to fight back. This is a simple thing to do, is to get rid of the illegals. And I'm telling you, I don't care. Every man, woman, and child in this country illegally should be deported out of the country. I would not exchange any of them for one Sheridan Gorman. The lives of the American citizens must be protected. Now here, it's just here you go. Just last month, the students in Chicago were walked out of their schools in protest of ICE. All around Chicago, you had kids, grammar school, high school, they all walked out and protested ICE. It could have been any one of these kids that was murdered by this Jose Medina, illegal immigrant. It could have been any one of them. They're out there protesting, and they're inviting their own demise. They're saying, no, I shouldn't get these illegals out of the country. We should protect the illegals. And then the illegal murders a freshman right down the street. Who's talking to the... Now, obviously, kids are kids. They're going to say, oh, we have a free opportunity to get out of school and cut class, and all I got to do is hold this sign. Yeah, I'm going to do it. So it's the adults that are there that are influencing the children. Kids go out of school because they can go out of school. The teachers' unions, the teachers themselves, the parents, they're influencing these kids. You got kids that don't even know what in the world they're talking about saying, yeah, I'm against ICE, because they're hearing it from the adults. Oh, I'm against ICE. We should abolish ICE. If there wasn't such a resistance to ICE and ICE could just do its job, Sheridan Gorman is alive today. But no, they're willing to sacrifice Sheridan Gorman. They're willing to sacrifice you. They're willing to sacrifice your children to keep illegal aliens in this country. And if it doesn't make you sick, then you are out of your mind. What kind of parent is anti-ICE? What kind of parent is anti-ICE? How do you read these stories? How do you have college kids? How do you have a daughter and be anti-ICE? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's just as stupid. It's just as retarded as these people that are okay with men being in the locker rooms with their girls. What parents are these? Who are you? Shame on you. If you're a parent that thinks it's okay for a man to be in the locker with your daughter, shame on you. If you're a parent that thinks it's okay for illegals to be in this country and stay in this country, shame on you. Here's another one. You want to throw up? Here, if you want to throw up, here's another one. Guatemalan illegal alien Carlos Aguilar Reynoso, 27-year-old, was just arraigned on Monday, or indicted on Monday. This is a guy in Long Island, okay, that was babysitting a 5-year-old girl and raped her. Illegal immigrant from Guatemala shouldn't be in this country, rapes a 5-year-old girl violently, okay? The illegal immigrant, this is from the New York Post, the illegal immigrant sat stone-faced in Long Island court yesterday, Monday, as prosecutors outlined the sickening details of his alleged babysitting sex attack on a young girl he left needing surgery. He was babysitting a 5-year-old girl while the mother was at work. He violently raped the toddler, leaving her bleeding and suffering from internal injuries, Suffolk County prosecutors told the court. When the victim's mother returned from work, the victim told her mother that her private parts were hurting. Now, if you're not already, blood isn't going and you don't have tears coming in your eyes, you're not a human. Imagine this. If you have a little kid, if you've ever had a kid, you can imagine this 5-year-old girl telling her mom that her private parts hurt. Reynoso stood emotionless as he went through this. The mother was believing that her child may have soiled herself. She thought maybe the kid pissed her pants or something. She took her to the bathroom to change, and she noticed her underwear was soaked in blood. The child told her mom that this sicko did it to her. The child was rushed to the medical center in Riverhead, where the doctors found internal injuries and a tear in her private regions. She was then transferred by ambulance to another medical center in New Hyde Park, where she had to undergo emergency surgery. Police arrested Reynoso the next day. He resisted the police. He was nearly let back on the streets due to the combination of state bail laws and sanctuary policies. So there's this guy, Reynoso. This scumbag, this animal, this is who Alex Petty died to protect. This is who Renee Good died to protect. This is who you're protesting. If you're protesting ICE, this is the guy you're protesting to save. If you are anti-ICE, you are pro-pedophile. Here's all these scumbags around us right now. They have the balls to be calling the President of the United States a pedo protector. And it's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. Here's an actual pedophile. And the Democrats are protesting, and the liberals are protesting to keep him here. Tell me who's the pedophile protector. Tell me who it is. The real pedophile protector is anybody that's anti-ICE. And fuck you if that's you. I'm sick and tired of hearing these stories. I'm sick and tired of seeing these families' lives destroyed. Again, I understand that there's crime in America and that citizens commit crimes too. State the Captain Obvious. You always hear this argument. Oh, I get it. I understand that. There's never going to be a world we live in that's free of evil. It's impossible. I get it. Just like there's night and day, there'll always be night and day. There's hot and cold, there'll always be hot and cold. There's good and evil, there'll always be good and evil. I get it. I get it. But when it's cold out, you could put on a blanket. You can dress warm. When it's night out, you could put a light on and give yourself some light. There's ways to counteract this stuff. There's ways to cooperate with the positive side of these conflicts that we're caught in the middle of. And the conflict of good and evil that we're caught in of, there's something you can do to prevent a piece of it, which is deport these bastards, these animals out of our country. Let me throw this scenario at you, okay? Because what they're saying is, we should not all illegal immigrants are criminals. Not all illegal immigrants are bad. Well, here's why I say you should deport all of them anyway, okay? Here's my explanation for you. Here's an allegory for you. If you have a big bowl full of M&Ms, thousands of M&Ms, okay? And only 10% of those M&Ms are poisonous with cyanide, and they will kill you on the spot. But all the rest of the M&Ms are good M&Ms. Would you keep this bowl of M&Ms in your house for your family and your friends to eat out of? The answer is no. You wouldn't do it. This bowl right here, full of illegal immigrants, 10% which are going to kill you, you have the opportunity to remove it from your house. Who in the world wouldn't do it? Get it out. You eliminate at least one, and you prevent unnecessary deaths. I just don't understand the logic of, well, they're all not criminals. They all need to go. Stories really got me going, and I don't know how you read it and not just especially as a parent. If you're a father, if you're a mother out there, I don't know how you read these stories and remain emotional. They told you about that 5-year-old boy, Liam. Oh, my God. We all saw him with the backpack. His dad dropped him like a wet towel because he's here illegally. He put his son in the position to be in this country illegally in the first place. Then he drops the kid and runs off like a coward when he goes to get arrested. And they made this kid like a billboard. Like, oh, my God. They all reacted to it, all of them. And they all put on the fake outrage, because they know the kid shouldn't be in the country. They know the dad shouldn't be in the country. They know the dad shouldn't have put the kid in that situation. And then they know the dad dropped the kid like a wet towel and ran away from him. They all know this. But they put the kid out there in the face like, look what these evil ICE agents are doing. Look at these evil ICE agents. Here's a 5-year-old girl on Long Island violently raped by an illegal, and they'll never say a word about it because they're phonies. They'll never say a word about it. The same bullshitters who are on The View, the same bullshitters on MSNBC and CNN that are sitting there in fake tears over this 5-year-old kid who should have never been in the country, they'll never say a word about this 5-year-old girl that was raped by an illegal, ever. Because they're bullshitters. That's why. All right. We got to move on here because I'm just going to keep going. I'm fired up over it, and it's just disgusting what's happened here. Deport all of them. End the story. Now, I was just on, let me lighten the mood here a bit here. I'll share some of this interview. I was on Sky News with this Danica DiGiorgio, really impressed by this woman, too. The Sky News had reached out to me. They wanted me to come on the program, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I'll put the link to the full interview, the full piece in the description down below. Just wanted to share some of it with you. I liked her energy. She was high energy, so it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I thought you might enjoy it, too. I'm going to share a few clips from it, and then I'll bring on Congressman Scott Perry, and we'll get into a lot more stuff here. But this, we talked about a lot of topics. Here's a hit on, I was talking about Mamdani, Robert Mueller dying, and TSA lines. So take a listen. He won an election in which non-American-born voters were the most dominating force that kind of got him elected. So we say New Yorkers forgot 9/11. Not true. A lot of people that elected him weren't born in this country. So we can't just blame this on New Yorkers saying they forgot 9/11 when all these outside invaders came into the city and pushed them to the top.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He just keeps sprouting his nonsense over and over again. And look, we've got to talk about his wife's disgraceful social media history. This is Rama Douaji. Now, she celebrated Palestinian terrorists. She used her Tumblr account in 2017 to hail Palestinian plane hijacker Layla Khalid and other members of the terror group Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, posting a photo of Khalid with a caption quoting one of her infamous lines. It says, "If it does good for my cause, I'd be happy to accept death." And I was just looking at the New York Post. It's also revealed that she was deeply involved in a democratic socialist activist campaign, pushing political candidates critical of Israel and backing a controversial bill targeting pro-Israel charities. Alec, what do you make of this? And as well, Zoran Mamdani's this insistence of his, oh, well, she's a private citizen, so she should be left alone. No. She's very much in the public eye, don't you think?
Well, also, too, you got to remember, Danica, that Zoran Mamdani himself claimed to be a black guy so he can get into college. He put that down on his college application, made some kind of excuse about it, and the liberal media, of course, forgave him. And that's what's going to happen with his wife here. You got to remember, it's okay for Democrats to be as racist as possible. We've seen that with multiple Democrats, Howard Stern wearing blackface, getting away with it. We saw Justin Trudeau wearing blackface. He gets away with it. So you have to remember that it's okay for them to be racist. We saw that with Larry Elder out in California. He was running to be the first black governor of that state, and a white person dressed in a monkey mask threw an egg at him, and there wasn't even a sniff about it on the liberal media. So it's okay for Democrats to be racist. They get a pass on all that stuff all the time.
Yeah, and it's such a shame. And you're right. I mean, Zoran Mamdani literally has a resume the size of your arm. He was everything. You know, he was a rapper. He tried his hand at everything before he went, oh, maybe I might try and become a mayor. I mean, the guy's got barely any qualifications. And yeah, I'm not surprised about his wife.
I would say this, Danica, that if you're shocked by President Trump's response to this, then shame on you. This guy's been into politics now for 10 years. He's not a guy that always speaks politically correct. Look at him the other day when the Japanese interviewer asked him a question. He said, hey, why didn't you tell us about bombing us in Pearl Harbor? He says things like this. He tells you what he believes. That's why we love this guy. Robert Mueller tried to destroy this man, destroy his family, and Donald Trump told you exactly how he feels. That's what he's been doing for the last 10 years. That's why we love him.
Well, that's it. I mean, he's a sharpshooter in the end. I mean, he says how he feels. Yep, you're right. He's not politically correct, but that's just the man he is, and that is why we love the president for who he is. I think he is genuine enough. That's just what I think.
Listen, Danica, this is what I would do if I was in the airport right now and I'm waiting on these long lines. You got plenty of time to kill. Ask the guy in front of you, hey, do you think it's okay for illegals to cut the line and jump over the border and they should stay here? If they say yes, it's okay, then cut in front of them at the line, because what's fair is fair. If they think it's okay, then show them, okay, well, then there's no reason I shouldn't be allowed to cut you in this line. We all know nobody wants to see that. If you went in that line right now and cut people off, they'd want to have your head for it. Yet they think it's okay for illegals to jump the line and come right into the country. It's nonsense. We got to deport all these people out of our country. And right now, Trump is right. Bring ICE in there, and that'll get the Democrats to the table a lot faster, because God forbid they have ICE agents there. They don't even want ICE agents at the polling polls, the Democrats. They tell us that illegals don't vote in the elections, but they don't want ICE to be at the polling stations. You've got to figure that one out, too.
No, that's it. And I mean, in the end, Donald Trump was elected on a mandate to rid the country of illegal immigrants. So I don't know why the Democrats and the left are constantly jumping up and down. They're basically in tears every day. Donald Trump is doing what he was elected to do, what the majority of Americans wanted him to do. So I agree. And the footage of the lines has been incredible that you pointed out. I mean, they look that, you know, people are tearing their hair out now at the airport, Alec.
All right, yeah, again, I really enjoyed the interview. I got the link to the full one down there in the description below. I thought Danica was phenomenal. I enjoyed her energy, and, she seems to have her head sewed on straight, which was, I didn't know. I know Australia got a lot of problems, especially during the COVID era, so I wasn't really kind of sure what to expect jumping on that program. Very impressed. But a couple of things here, just real quick, before I bring on Congressman Scott Perry. When I was talking about Robert Mueller, now, the left had this meltdown over Trump, saying he was glad Mueller was dead, right? And they were like, I can't believe that the president would do this. Like it's beneath the office of the president to do this, right? It wasn't beneath the office of the president when Biden had a guy with boobs naked running around on the White House lawn, right? That wasn't beneath the office to do that, right? It wasn't beneath the office for Clinton to be getting head and cheating on his wife in the Oval Office. That wasn't beneath the office, because they still hold Clinton in a high praise, right? None of this stuff is beneath the office. But President Trump saying that against a person that was literally trying to destroy him and his family's life, that's going too far. So you saw the fake outrage over that, and I made the point there, too. This is who Trump is. He's been this way for 10 years. But here's the interesting thing. Now, yesterday, this guy, I'm going to say this name wrong, Leonid Radvinsky, passed away, apparently from cancer, 43 years old. He was the owner of OnlyFans. And now, I vehemently disagree with OnlyFans and the entire porn industry, without a doubt, okay? Many women have made a fortune with OnlyFans. There's no question about it. Some of them have made more than top athletes, right? That's Sophie Rain is the one that's always being pushed up. She's making like $90 million a year, some crazy numbers. But you do see a lot of, I think it's poisonous for our girls. I disagree with it. I'm against it. This guy was the owner of it, made millions and millions of dollars on it. Now, he dies. The same people that were slamming Trump for being glad that Robert Mueller was dead were on there talking about how happy they were that this guy died. Now, whether you like this guy or not, at least be consistent. Here's the hypocrisy. You're online boasting and saying, I'm glad this guy is dead, when just yesterday you were scolding Trump for doing the same thing. Here's a case in point. Tim Pool. He put 2 days ago, he puts, he quote tweets Trump's post about Robert Mueller. Lord have mercy. Trump really did post this. Mueller has died, and he was not a good man. But wow, Trump is brutal. Okay, so he admits Mueller was a bad guy, but geez, you can't say that about him. Now here's Tim Pool yesterday. Leonid Redvinsky is a vile, evil man and one of the most prolific sex traffickers in human history. I have no sympathy for him or anyone who worked with him. So he just scolded Trump for being glad that Mueller was dead, and now he says he's glad this guy is dead. Now, is he a sex trafficker? Is that true? I don't know. Okay. Why was he not in prison? Where's the indictments? Where's the proof? I disagree with the whole OnlyFans thing. I get it. But if you're going to slam somebody for being glad someone's dead and then do it the next day, you're a hypocrite. I mean, these people are crazy, and he wasn't the only one. Some of them directly, they're glad he's dead. Well, you just blasted Trump for the same thing. And imagine thinking, and these people are like, oh, well, it's different. Imagine thinking that you were being accused of a crime you didn't commit. Be honest with yourself. That you were accused of a crime, a very, very serious crime that you did not commit. And there is a person who is trying to pin you to the wall and ruin your life over it. For years, they're trying to ruin you. You know you didn't do anything wrong. And this person is got a target on you, is doing everything possible to lie and cheat and steal, to pin this false crime on you for years. And then he dies. And then you say, I'm glad he's dead. And people are saying, oh, shame on you. You know, you would be a lot different than the way Trump did. But it's beneath the office of the presidency, see? I think the office of the president is beneath the office of the presidency. President Donald Trump has been consistent for years. And that point that I made there with TSA, now obviously ICE has come in. The lines have shortened down. And of course, you have lunatics at the airports now protesting ICE. You're going to see that again. Show them a picture here of Sheridan Gorman and say, "Oh, is this who you want ICE to stop? Is this the person here that you think should be dead so illegals could stay?" But they don't care about that. They're willing to sacrifice you, your mother, and everybody else in order to keep the illegals. And the idea on the ICE, the TSA, it's the same thing as I had been saying about the Oscars, about the Super Bowl, about all these things. Ask the guy in front of you, right? Hey, do you believe illegals should jump the line? If they say yes, you cut the line. They don't see it as the same. Oh, that's different. That's different. It's the same thing. Do you want the illegals living in your house? No. They want them in your neighborhood. All hypocrites. All hypocrites. All right, so let's get into more of this. Again, I got the link to that Sky News full interview down below. It starts at 54:54 in the interview. It's like about an hour and a half program, I think, or something. All right, let's get Congressman Scott. Now, midterms are coming. One of these hot races, hot seats. Congressman Scott Perry, Pennsylvania District 10. The Democrats are pouring millions of dollars into this to beat him and flip that seat. We got to keep the seats we have and gain more. I mean, the midterms, we are set up for a disaster here. We've got to do what we can to hold on to the seats that we got. Scott Perry's is an important one. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about Iran. We'll bring up the TSA. We'll talk about Sheridan Gorman and as much more as we can. So let's bring on, welcome him back to the podcast here, Congressman Scott Perry.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm at the White House with my dad, and you're watching The AlecLace Show.
You're listening to The AlecLace Show. The future is family.
All right, joining me now, Congressman Scott Perry. Welcome back to the AlecLace Show.
Great to be with you. Absolutely.
Always a pleasure to see you here. You know, I kind of wanted to start out because I was talking about this earlier in my show. It's another one of these, just, as a father, especially, these heartbreaking, tragic things. You had this 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman who was killed by an illegal immigrant that shouldn't have been in this country, allowed in by Biden back in 2023. And it's just, you can't imagine what these parents are going through. Yet on the other side, you have the Democrats that are refusing to pay DHS and TSA agents because they want to keep illegals in the country. These are the people that they're protesting against. These are the people that they're trying to protect. And another one just committed the ultimate penalty, murdering somebody's innocent daughter. And it just makes me sick. What's your take on the case?
Yeah, well, first of all, you hate to, this is what you can offer is your condolences, your prayers, your thoughts. But I think that is important for families to know that we get it and that we understand and we're praying with them. That having been said, look, that's unfortunately, that's the reality of this. That's breaking it down to its basic tenets, right? The left, the Democrats so named, are standing up for people here illegally that murder American citizens, and they don't give a damn about the people that work, punch a time card. They're trying to go on their vacation. Their time is precious to them because they most likely get paid by the hour, right? And they're sitting at the airport for 3-4 hours just to get through a TSA line because the Democrats support people in their country here illegally to kill them more than they support the people that actually work, punch the time card, and pay the taxes. That's the reality of the situation. Now, of course, mainstream media is not reporting on that at all. They're talking about, some poor person that escaped that escaped some kind of persecution, in some other country, just wants to live a better life in America, and you're trying to throw them out. Well, let me just tell you what, sir, it's more dangerous in Chicago than it is in a lot of these places in the world where these people allegedly are escaping from, number one. And number two, we don't just let you come into America because you want a better life. Everybody wants a better life. You know what? Americans punching a time card want a better life too. And you know who they don't want to compete against? People that are willing to work for pennies on the dollar, and come to this country. We feel bad for these people, just like we do our neighbors or anybody. They should be solving the problems of their countries, not leaving their countries, solving the problems of their countries, just like Americans solved the problems in our country when the British said, we're going to tax you into poverty. We didn't accept that, and we did something about it. Now, we don't want to see them go to war or anything like that. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We want everybody to be helped. But you got to help yourselves, and you can't help yourself just simply by running away. And then I think we could solve a lot of this problem by just saying, if you came to this country, certainly illegally, you get no public benefits, none. We're not paying for that. And I bet half these people that are here just decide they don't want to be here anymore, and they'd be happy to work it out in the country they live in.
Yeah, oddly enough, that was the Democrats' stance not that long ago. They believed in that very same idea. And now all of a sudden, of course, they're just all for open borders and migration and illegal immigration. But J.B. Pritzker, he has the nerve to get on there and blame President Donald Trump for using this tragedy as a political thing. Like, how dare President Donald Trump use this as a political thing because it happened. Now, this is a guy who mocked the crime in Chicago. This is a guy that said ICE should be abolished. And now he's got an illegal immigrant that killed a college student in his state, and he's a disgrace. But also, too, the Democrats do this. They use that kid, what's his name, Liam, with the little bunny hat. They had the picture. Oh my God, they made that a sensational story. It was they thought they saw that kid at the Super Bowl because they had that such story such on their mind. It didn't turn out to be him, of course, but they don't even mention this woman who was just murdered. And also, just because that kid Liam was a 5-year-old, just the other day, they had the arraignment for this Carlos Reynoso, an illegal from Guatemalan, who was just indicted for raping a 5-year-old girl on Long Island, where it was so bad the girl had to have immediate surgery. Mm-hmm. And they don't talk about that 5-year-old girl. All of a sudden, that 5-year-old girl is irrelevant because this illegal immigrant is part of the people that they're trying to protect. And it just makes us sick, Congressman, that we keep seeing this.
Yeah, and we're going to keep seeing it because they've allowed these people to be here. Not only are they by design, they've not only allowed them to be there here, they've orchestrated the plan to bring them here, and then they stick up for them. You're never going to hear about this poor 5-year-old girl because she's not the right, she's not the right narrative. The little boy that was abandoned by his parents. You're never going to hear that story. It's like somehow ICE is at fault for for picking up his illegal parent for committing crimes. The fact that he abandoned his child, was willing to run and leave him at the mercy of anybody that picked him up, that's not part of the story at all, because they don't want you to hear that part of the story. And of course, unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans that only see that one side of the story. They don't, until it happens to them, until these things happen to them, I guess they just can't understand what it's like. But you don't see Jamie Pritzker, having lunch every day with a bunch of illegals in his mansion, in the governor's mansion. He's not inviting them into his home to sit there and watch TV and eat everything in the pantry or the refrigerator every night. But he demands that you do it.
Yeah, I don't think he shares anything in his fridge with anybody, to be honest with you, if you take a look at the guy. But now, what do you think? What's your take on Trump? Now, he sent the ICE agents to the airports. Of course, you had the liberals melting down. We've got videos of these liberal lunatic women yelling at the ICE agents, calling them Nazis, typical playbook. But it seems now to have drastically made an impact on the wait times in certain areas here. So what's your take on him sending the ICE in there to straighten this out?
Well, look. I think ICE should be at the airport to pick up people that are either traversing the country illegally or coming in or going out. That's what they should be doing there. This is a problem that was created by the Democrats. The good TSA people want to work. They're proficient at their job. They just would like to be paid. And I don't think that ICE agents should be taken off the street, quite honestly, to go stand around the airport and try and do a job that somebody else is supposed to be doing and somebody wants to do, but won't be paid because Democrats refuse to pay them. All that does is allow more criminals to roam freely on the streets, unless the president's saying they're in the airports to pick up people illegally that are fleeing, prosecution or fleeing law enforcement. Let's remember, whether it's TSA, whether it's Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, whether it's your local sheriff, your state police, your local municipal police, they are all law enforcement. They all deserve to be paid. They all just want to do their job. And those are the people we should be supporting, not people here illegally that are killing and raping and robbing from our citizens.
Yeah, well said, Congressman. Now, and the last piece on this, you got these Democrats, especially on X and social media, they're playing Mickey the Dope. Oh, it's the Republicans' fault why TSA agents aren't getting paid. What's the easiest way to shoot down that ridiculousness?
Well, the easiest way to shoot it down is to say that the Democrats refuse to vote for the funding bill until ICE agents can't do their job, right? That's literally the argument. They want the president and the House and the Senate to say that Immigrations and Customs Enforcement is not allowed to do their job, then they'll pay them to be on the job. That's where we stand right now. And I sure hope the administration and the Senate doesn't offer some stupid deal that imperils our law enforcement officers. You wouldn't ask that of your local township police, and you shouldn't ask it of anybody that's doing this job either. They wear a uniform. They get up every day. They live in your communities. They lived in your communities for decades. They're your neighbors. They're just trying to keep your streets safe and remove people that are here illegally. We should be supporting that, and we should do nothing to make their mission more difficult or more dangerous.
Yeah, well said. Illegals over citizens. That's been the Democrat motto, and it's mind-boggling that people will continue to vote for it, even though they just waited in a 3-hour line to protect illegals over themselves. But let me move on to Iran real quick here. Trump gave Iran a 48-hour notice to open the strait. Then he said there was some negotiations that were happening, and then now you got about a 5-day window here. So how do you call it? What do you see happening here with what's going on in Iran? Are we headed for a solution to this? Or are we headed for a continuation of it?
Well, I think we're headed for a solution. The time frame is what's really in question. And of course, look, we have probably a different goal than Israel has, and we got to understand that there are allies in this. But just like in World War II, the Allied powers had different goals. So I think that the president and our military, which is expert, by the way, and deserves all the credit that we can give them, is about wrapping up their portion of the mission. And now we're going to get into the diplomatic mission for the United States. The question is what's Israel's goal here? And does it align with ours? And of course, they've got their own say, and we don't have to agree or not, but they can do what they want to. They're a sovereign nation themselves. And so I think that the president would look to wrap this thing up militarily. I think we're about there. But I think the Straits of Hormuz is where a lot of the rest of the world gets its energy. But of course, they're the, vote no and hope yes caucus. They want somebody else to do their work, but they sure hope somebody does it. They just don't want to do it themselves. They need to step up and protect their own economies, their own citizens' well-being, and help out here. And we've done the hard work now. They could sure step in, and they need to. And I think the president has shamed them and showed the world that while we pay and continue to pay for their defense through NATO, through the UN, directly to those countries, when we and the rest of the world needs them, they suddenly cannot be found.
I think it's one of the most eye-opening things of this entire thing, Congressman, is what our NATO allies, what our other countries, when it was their time to step in and help us just a touch, they all backed away, and all of a sudden they were nowhere to be found. And we kind of understand where we really stand in that relationship with these other countries. It's always one way, and it just seems like it's like an abusive relationship. That's what we're into here, and it almost makes Americans say, "Hey, let's get the hell out of this NATO. They have nothing to offer us."
What are they offering? We've been in Ukraine. We've been supporting Ukraine for 1,500 days. This war in Iran, the kinetic portion where the United States finally responded to 47 years of aggression by Iran. We've been in there, 20 or 30 days or something, not even 30 days. And everybody's screaming. Meanwhile, we've been in Ukraine for 1,500 days. You know what? The Ukrainians certainly weren't killing Americans, and the Russians weren't killing uniformed service members, but the Iranians for 47 years have been killing scores of Americans. And look, this is more, we hate Trump, and no matter what Trump does, we're against it, including we'll be for the Iranian mullahs who chant death to America and will send nuclear weapons over our skies. We'll be for them as long as we can be against President Trump. It is outrageous.
That's really all it is. And I saw you that testimony the other day. I thought it was brilliant, saying, "Hey, was Russia an imminent threat?" And it's so true. All these people were willing to go to war with Russia to protect Ukraine. Everything was Slava Ukraine, and they were all over it. Meanwhile, Russia posed no imminent threat to us whatsoever. But we've been funding a proxy war with Ukraine for now 1,500 days, like you said.
Right.
All right, so let me move quickly here because I know I don't have much time. And the midterm is obviously that's the huge thing right now is the midterms.
Right.
But the Democrats are pouring a ton of resources into flipping your seat. They see it as a top target. What are you doing right now to counter that? What are the top issues that you're hammering home?
Well, listen, I continue to try and earn it every single day. And I meet with my bosses, my constituents, and I fight for them. So, every single policy, whether it's affordability, whether it's security, these people here want to be able to afford their groceries and their bills. They want to live in their own homes and be free in a house that they can afford. And they want to know their streets are safe. And so I go to Congress every single day and fight on their behalf and tell them about it. Now, some people here don't agree with me, and we understand that. We're not all going to agree with each other, but I respect them, and I think most people here respect that I'm honest with them, and I tell them why I make the decisions that I make. I explain them, and I'm out among them all the time. I go to the grocery store here. I go to the gas station, the Tractor Supply, you name it. I'm out in the community on the streets seeing these people, and they know I'm one of them. I'm a guy who grew up with dirty fingernails because I had to work on a car for a living or what have you. And so I'm just like they are. And I just got to remind them of that every day while the Democrats pour $20 or $25 million into one of my opponents who, quite honestly, doesn't even come from the district.
And that is part of the thing, Congressman, too. We're tired of seeing so many people propped up with these $1 million campaigns, these polished politicians. We want guys from the neighborhood. We want girls from
Right.
the community that are going to get in there and represent us, be like us, and have similar ideals and values. And that's really all we can ask for. But right now, you see what happens with these people. Like, especially I'm here in the communist state of New Jersey. Our utility prices are true to ceiling because of the governor we have. Everybody that's got a Democratic governor sees similar plots going on, and it's just it really just doesn't make any sense why people continue to vote in their own demise. And it seems like they're willing to pay the price just because mostly it seems like it's anti-Trump, Trump derangement syndrome, and it seems like they have no other reason to offer for why they're voting for higher this and higher that.
Yeah, well, of course, the gas prices right now are high because of the war with Iran, but no one cared about thousands of Americans dying when Iran was slaughtering them in Iraq and Afghanistan, right? Nobody seemed to care then. This is the price of freedom. This is the price of security. It's not going to last forever. No one really even complained because the media didn't complain about these high prices when Joe Biden was the president. Do you remember what the egg prices were when Joe Biden was the president? I think after President Trump was elected and sworn in, it took about 2 weeks for the prices to come down. And then, of course, the media said, oh, well, of course, that's the way it's supposed to be. We're not going to give you any credit for that. They don't give the president credit for anything. And, of course, most people, they just don't want any confrontation. They just want to live their lives and be left alone. And the media constantly throws Trump in their face and says he's the problem. Meanwhile, he's fixing all the screw-ups of years and years of Democrat rule, whether it's your electricity prices, whether it's your car prices, whether it's your police being unable to do the job. You name it, you can tie it all to leftist policy that is destroying our communities and our country.
Yeah, and we do see it. And the last thing that I'll touch on here, too, is I know we have, you want to do the budget reconciliation. We're tired of seeing all the waste, fraud, and abuse. We haven't gotten anywhere near the amount of waste, fraud, and abuse out of the system as we need to do it. So what is this all going to look like? How do we get a budget reconciliation going forward? What is that going to look like? I know you're against the big spending. You voted against it in the past. So what are we doing? How do we, and also, too, how do we get this SAVE Act thing going to go through as well?
Well, look, the SAVE Act, the Senate's trying to do everything it can to not stand up and debate and not vote for the bill. Just let me tell you, if they're saying anything otherwise, they're lying to you. They could be doing this right now. They don't want to debate it, and they don't want to have to vote on it. And I hate to pick on my own team. Both sides do this, and that's unacceptable. The American people demand it. We need to know that only citizens are voting and only people qualified, that those are the ones that are voting. That having been said, reconciliation is all about leverage. Somebody's going to want something, and we're going to have to exact a price for that. The price for that is absolutely getting rid of the fraud and abuse and making sure that the spend is as low as possible, as low as only what's necessary, and then going and fighting for those things, because every dollar that we spend at the federal level is a dollar that's out of your pocket that you need to run your household. So that's how it's going to be. And unfortunately, we won't be able to count on any Democrat support, because what they will require for any of their votes is horrific spending that bankrupts the country. And so we just won't be able to work with them on reconciliation. But we have a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of opportunities there. We can get some really good policies, and we can get some decent spending levels if we go fight for it. But we're going to have to fight for it.
I do believe the Democrats are just in a stall tactic, delay, because they feel like they're going to get the House, and so they're not going to do anything. It's going to be impossible to negotiate with them or get them to come to anywhere near the table. I feel like that's the way they're looking at it.
Well, yeah, they don't want to come to a conclusion. They don't want to be on board to save the country. They don't want to be part of the solution. So their demands are going to be so outrageous that they won't be able to be considered. And they're good with that. That's exactly what they want, so that they can come out and say, look, these guys, they couldn't get it done, or this is what they did. They did it without us, and, they should include us. Meanwhile, knowing that they made it impossible to include them.
Yeah, it's sickening to watch. So lastly, do you see this? This is what drives me crazy, Congressman, is that you talked about the gas prices going up because of the war. We see the oil futures, the minute the oil futures go up, the gas at the pump goes up the next minute. But when the oil futures start to plummet, we don't see any change. It was like the egg prices that you talked about.
Right.
When they were high under Biden, the local bodegas and egg sandwich places, they said, oh, we got to charge an extra $1 for the egg sandwich. Now the egg prices have been down. The prices are still the same. They never drop. So they're always quick to rise and very slow to fall.
Yeah, they go up like a rocket and they come down like a feather, right? And a bunch of people are making money in between. And of course, the easy thing to do is to blame President Trump and the Republicans. We know the game, we get it, but we should also know who's doing it. Unfortunately, we can't vote those people out, right? There are the corporations and the big multinational organizations that are fleecing not only America, but the rest of the world, and they keep on getting richer and richer and blaming other people for it. Let's remember who's trying to keep America safe and America affordable and America free. His name's President Trump, and of course he has the help of Speaker Mike Johnson and the Republican Party in the House. We need a little help from our friends in the Senate. Get on board.
Yeah, right on with that. Congressman, tell the people where they can go to support you.
They can go to support me at Rep. Scott Perry on the official side and Patriots for Perry on the campaign side. They're going to spend, $25 million against me. If you want somebody that's going to stand up for you and tell you straight, please help out.
Well, I pray we keep you there. Congressman Scott Perry, always an honor. Thanks for coming back to see me on the AlecLace Show.
God bless you. Thank you.
All right, grateful to Congressman Scott Perry for giving me a few minutes of his time here. What did you guys think about the interview? Hit me with a comment down below. His seat is an important one. If you want to get out over there and support him, I got the link down there in the description below. We got to hold on, as I said, to the seats that we got and gain as many as possible. Scott Perry, one of the good ones we got in Congress, I believe. There's a lot of shady characters we got in Congress. We all know it. We definitely want to see more people from the community, from the neighborhood. But listen, money, influence, power, it influences people at a high rate, and we all know it. So not only do we got to win the seats, we also got to get good candidates in there who aren't going to stab us in the back. One of the craziest stories to see. Now, you imagine this: you're waiting online for 5 hours the other day in LaGuardia to get on your plane, and now you get on the plane, and there's an accident at the airport, and now you're going to sit on that plane for what seems like forever, and the airport is shut down. So many people experienced this, but it wasn't as tragic as it was for this plane that came in and landed at LaGuardia. This plane, Air Canada, smashes into a fire truck, and it just looks bizarre the way that the plane was pointed up in the air. And tragically, the pilot and the co-pilot are dead. And this miracle, this flight attendant here went flying in the air 300 feet. She was ejected from the plane, and she only had like a fractured leg. How a flight attendant, this is the New York Post, how a flight attendant likely survived a 300-foot ejection from LaGuardia crash. The impact of the crash sent Solange Tremblay flying 300 feet from the aircraft, and she suffered only a fractured leg. I mean, that is a miracle. I mean, listen, flying is a terrifying experience. A lot of people, they sacrifice that and say whatever, and they're calm and cool. I fly quite a bit, and it's one of those things where we all kind of understand that at any moment this shit could be all over here. I mean, it only takes one minor malfunction, and there's a lot of human error involved in this, a lot of mechanical error involved in this, a lot of electronical failures that could be involved in this. There's so many things that can go wrong. So many things have to go right for you to get in the plane and get to your destination. And the people at the tower are part of that solution to get you from point A to point B. And apparently, now I don't know, they're going to do the investigation, NTSB, and all that stuff. But it seems like the guy in the tower was telling the truck to go and the plane to use that runway when it came in. So I don't know. It's just sad if that's the case. And that guy, somebody's got to live with that for the rest of their life. And it seems like that could be the reason why. Again, I don't want to say anything that's not true about that. It's just a tragedy that the pilot and the co-pilot died. I just wish that they could have made it, and this could have just been an incident where we learned from it and stuff, but now it has turned into, obviously, a tragedy. with the 2 deaths. But I just imagine these people that, obviously, you have to wait. So poor you, there's 2 people that are dead. But I'm just saying, I can't imagine these people that were at LaGuardia all day trying to get through because ICE hadn't been yet deployed to shorten the lines. And you have these people waiting at the airport for hours to get on their flight. And then now you're stuck on the runway or stuck in the airport and they closed the freaking airport now. It's like, talk about a long day there. But again, prayers for those pilots who were cut down. One of the things here, last thing I want to hit on was yesterday, President Trump was at Graceland. And now this is one of the fun things to enjoy about President Donald Trump. He's somebody that spoke like, I've met all these famous people. I've met all the, famous singers he's talking about, like Sinatra and the whole bit, but he never met Elvis Presley. It seems like it bothers Trump because he's mentioned this before, how he's never met the king, Elvis Presley. So he was in Memphis for a speech yesterday that he did. And afterwards, he wanted to go to Graceland and visit Elvis's home, in Memphis. So he did do that, and it was epic. I mean, it was awesome to see Trump just sharing a piece of American history, right, of pop culture history that he just wanted to see for himself, to witness it, to be a part of it. He loved Elvis Presley and enjoyed his music like millions of Americans have, and so he got a chance to go and see Graceland, and you got some great pictures of him. He signed a replica guitar of Elvis. They asked him to sign it, and typical Trump, he's inquiring about the pen, right? I mean, this was legendary here with Trump. This is the way he is, but he's a perfectionist. Take a look at this moment.
You can sign it right here if you like. Okay. There you go.
It's a great honor. Hold it. Has anyone tested this pen yet?
I think you're the first.
Should we just
Right
give
there?
me a piece of paper just to make sure what
got
level
paper.
the ink is,
Yes.
right? It's a lot easier to do that way than ruin the guitar.
Exactly.
Okay, not bad. Okay, ready everybody? Let's see here. Oh, that came out good. Look at that.
Yeah.
Trump, that's perfect Trump right there. A perfectionist to the T, making sure there's no smudges on the guitar and don't ruin it before he starts to sign it. But a lot of great moments there. And this is what we love, celebrating America, celebrating our pop culture history, stuff like that. It's awesome to see President Trump doing things like that. There's so much stuff to celebrate about America and just good things about America. And that's what we want to get back to here. It's so much doom and gloom and all this other stuff, and it was just kind of fun to take a moment to enjoy a part of our history there, our pop culture history, and to see President Trump being in there. He learned that Elvis once had blonde hair, blue eyes, and Trump's like, oh, I didn't know that. It was just fun to watch him interacting there with the people taking him through the tour. And, of course, everything is pointing, like I was talking to Congressman Perry about, everything pointing towards Iran. And everybody's, doom and gloom is what moves papers. Doom and gloom is what gets views and eyeballs. But here's what we have to pray for, that this ends as quickly as possible, that Trump finds a way to negotiate now with whoever the hell is going to be in charge of there, get this Hormuz Strait opened up, get these allied cowards to get involved and help protect it. The regime over there in Iran is completely neutered. Let's make them, for 50 years, not a threat to us or anybody else. So if we neutralized Iran, neutered them completely, opened up this freaking strait, and then the oil prices plummet, gas drops. Trump comes out of this, and it's instead of it being all this controversy, it becomes another check mark on his legacy of what he accomplished. Right? Stock market goes through the roof. Gas prices drop. Iran is now no longer a threat. That's what we want. That's what we pray for. That's what you should want as an American. But it almost seems like these idiots are like rooting for Iran and rooting for higher because they hate Trump so much. That's how bad and what a sickness this stuff is. Like, the people that are infected with this Trump derangement syndrome would rather Iran win, Trump lose, oil prices skyrocket, gas prices go up, stock market crash, just because they want Trump to look bad. I mean, that's the truth. It's just as retarded as these people that want to keep illegal aliens in the country, even though their kids could be killed because they want to stick it to Trump. And that's how dumb they are. And there's a sickness in our country with this. It's a sickness. And I'm sick of seeing it. Trump has turned people's lives into brains into just total garbage. Like they just can't get out of their own way. Everything is about wanting to get Trump. So we pray for victory. We pray for total annihilation of the regime of Iran, total annihilation of their military. That's what we pray for. That's what we want. We want the Strait opened. We want the allies to get involved. These NATO fart guys that are around. Oh yeah, we're not gonna get involved in that. No, get up, ante up. It's time to kick in here. And if not, it's time to stop using them as an ally. Stop giving them a nickel. So we're just tired of it, man. And hopefully, again, we'll see what happens. This was a 48-hour pressure that Trump gave them. And then now he says, okay, we have another option. If Trump has the option for peace, he's going to take it. Peace through strength. That's what President Trump has been preaching. All right, excuse me. All right, so that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Grateful to Congressman Scott Perry for joining me on the show. And I'll be back here Thursday trying to line up a few guests. We'll see what's going on. Follow me on X at AlecLace. That's where I post most often. And as always, I appreciate you tuning in. God bless you and you parents out there, you listeners, our police, our first responders. God bless our military, our veterans. God bless America. And I'll catch you guys on Thursday. Right back here on Rumble, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday.
You're listening to the Alec Lace Show. The future is family.